Your inability to answer my first question tells me you don't care. You don't understand the Chinese are the biggest bully on the planet. They determine the rules of the playground. They determine the relationships on the playground. And as long as you're willing to play footsie around the edges, we're never going to be able to corral them. Ms. Rosalind Kindler, while struggling today, China's economy is estimated by Goldman Sachs to possibly overtake the United States within the next 10 years. Most notably in 2022, the U.S. had a $382 billion trade deficit with China. In 1990, 1 year before the collapse, the U.S. had a trade surplus of over $2 billion with the USSR right before their collapse. Would the CCP be able to afford their military operations, build detention camps, subsidize their industries against ours if they had a trade deficit with the U.S. instead of a surplus of $382 billion?
Congressman, I'm not in a position to speak to that issue.
Are you not with Commerce, which oversees, and you made a whole big long speech in your opening statement with regards to trade. I'm asking a question about the benefit of us having trade relationships with China, and in this situation, we're in a trade deficit with them. We're funding by $382 billion of a deficit their activities. Would you not agree with that?
We are aggressively contending with the strategic trade threat posed by
China.
China.
No, you're not. I'm tired of your flowery language this morning. Please answer the question. Do you agree that by us trading with them, we are allowing our money to flow that way, which helps their economy, which helps them to be able to build detention camps against their own people, subsidize their industries against ours, and build up their military? It's a pretty simple question.
I believe that the world's biggest economies should continue commercial trade that does not affect and harm our national security interests.
Okay,
our innovation in the United States is driven by exports.
Well, question for you then. We had one of the dissidents from and survivor of Tiananmen Square, actually had two of them talk to us recently. And we asked the question of one of them, both of them, and one of them responded. What happens? What should we do to be helpful to the Chinese people? And his comment was, quit helping the Chinese government. That's all he said. There was a hush over the room. Quit helping the Chinese government, implying that when you help the government, they hurt us. When you help the government, they hurt you. Your policy, Ms. Rosalind Kindler, helps the Chinese government. Your inability to answer my first question tells me you don't care. You don't understand the Chinese are the biggest bully on the planet. They determine the rules of the playground. They determine the relationships on the playground. And as long as you're willing to play footsie around the edges, we're never going to be able to corral them. And my first question is, with regards to them being able to overtake us with their economy, when they overtake us, we're done. They will be able to dictate all sorts of things to all their partners around the world, including the reserve currency status, which means they can take us over with firing a shot. At some point, we have to understand we cannot continue to be playing footsies with these guys. And my question then is how can you, how would you respond to that detainee when he said, stop helping the Chinese government? How would you respond to him?
We've undertaken a litany of steps at the Department of Commerce to make sure that the Chinese government, the CCP, does not have access to technology that they can use to threaten U.S. national security interests. And that is specifically focused at government programs, at the use of dual-use civilian technologies by the military. We have military end-use controls in place.
Madam Kindler, we had testimony in this committee already that they were able to break into 14 out of 16 agencies at the Department of Defense. Come on, tell me you're not serious about this response. They can take anything in the world, and we've already had testimony here that they get between $200 and $600 billion worth of intellectual property from the United States every year. That's not a serious response on your part. We've got to stop everything going to China. If we don't, they use everything against us. And your willingness to continue to play games with them and be a partner with them endangers us down the road. I'm at a loss for words. With that, I yield back my time.